What's going on, everybody? We're back. As usual, Tuesday nights, it's wrestling off the air immediately following NXT, WWE NXT, that is. Not the point. It's Tuesday, November 28th. Another fine edition of NXT. I've got Shad with me. How are you doing today, Shad? And then, of course, I've got
Good.
Dryzzy as well. I mean, we can introduce ourselves too, for sure. Shad,
Y'all know
sorry,
who we are. Y'all know who we
we
are.
know who we are. Let's just
We
get
we
right.
don't need formalities.
Yeah, this is one of those things where if you've been tuning in week in and week out, you know who the three of us are. It's
Mhm.
Drizzy, it's Shad. I am Clark. If you didn't know, I'd probably be the least likely for you to know on this show because I'm definitely the least cool, but that's not the point. We got Bobby Petito in the comments. Bobby, you're the man. It was great to see my queen on NXT tonight,
Ooh,
Carmen Petrovic.
Queen. Ooh,
Love that. Respect,
She's
Bobby. Thank you for tuning in as
queen
always.
to
Cool
be.
Gamer with hello, everybody. Good to see you, Cool Gamer. You're the man. And even Anthony Manzano is saying, what's up? What's
Yeah.
going on, Anthony Manzano? Hi, how are you doing? So, a fun episode of NXT, guys. This one was pretty, pretty
Mm,
actually standard by comparison to what we've been dealing with of late. I feel like, and I don't play a lot of chess, but we were moving a lot more. We were like nudging pieces along. There weren't a whole lot of like letting, like the horses jump or like,
We're
or,
making we're making the necessary moves,
yeah,
the little bitty moves you gotta make before you make your big moves. And I think we're
yeah,
maybe a week or two away from the big moves happening.
exactly. We weren't
yeah.
shooting the bishop across the board or,
Couple
any of
weeks
that
couple weeks away from a pay-per-view. A PLE, my bad. A premium live event for
premium live
NXT.
event.
Yeah, sorry, I gotta be technical here. It's
Yeah.
WWE.
Man,
Um,
it's been damn near 30 years of us calling it a PPE. It's a PPE.
yeah.
PPV.
PPV. See, I can't even get it right there. See,
It's definitely not a PPE.
I
I
ruined
hope
it now.
it's
I've ruined
PPV.
it now. See,
It's
thank you
PP
very much, Vince McMahon. You screwed this up for me now.
PPP loans. Nah,
I need one of those. I need one of those.
yeah, nah, but we definitely on the horizon to stand and deliver. We setting up stuff for it. So yeah, I mean, we gonna get into it, but I think it was like you said a pretty good show. Stuff is progressing, some good matches going on.
Middle of the line.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's a middle of the road. We not going over this way. We not bad. We not good. We just kind of middle of the line, baby.
yeah.
It served its purpose. I feel like they hit a lot of like nostalgia notes at the end with Gargano and the even Bronson Reed to an extent, right? They a little old school NXT sprinkled in there.
Well,
The,
speaking of it, let's get into the main event.
you want to start with the main event?
Yeah,
Let's immediately start with the four way as
let's go
usual.
with what's fresh in our mind right now.
I love that. Let's get after it with the main event. We had Wesley versus Johnny Gargano versus Bronson Reed versus Cameron Grimes. Ben and I both big Cameron Grimes fans. I think Shad, you were talking about it during the match. Even you're impressed by the move set. I'm actually going to toss this one to you first, Shad. How did you feel about the match as a whole? Obviously, we will get to Wesley getting the win, but I mean, who stood out to you in this one that maybe on the main roster can take some momentum away from just a all around good performance in the main event? Because I do think it was the match of the night at the end of the day.
So, kudos to all four competitors. Kudos to all four former North American champions. I'm a fan of all four guys when they had their title reigns on NXT, and just a fan of all four of them in general. Um, if I had to give obviously the winner is Wesley, and I'll get into that. But if I had to pick a winner between the three gentlemen that wrestled tonight that are gonna build momentum, it's got to be Cameron Grimes. Just off of the lone fact, I think he did a wonderful job tonight, reminding people that he is very, very good at this in ring wrestling thing, as well as being a great character. And he was showing out tonight, man. He did a phenomenal job laying this stuff in, having incredible spots, working with the big man, Bronson Reed, working with Gargano and Wesley. I love the finish of the match where these guys were all just trying to get to the finish line and get that win with a lot of near falls and roll ups and whatnot. And I mean, he's just really good, and it's refreshing to see him on our television. We've seen him wrestle a couple times on SmackDown, and I know Boss Man Ben Allison always stresses it. This dude is super talented. I feel like he needs to be utilized more. So hopefully this will be a reminder to the people on the main roster, like, oh, this guy can work, and let's get him in more prominent storylines and matches and whatnot. Um, all in all, great, man. I mean, the match was really fun. Bronson Reed is always a treat to see wrestle. The dude is like super big, but moves very nimble. Looks very strong with the people that he's wrestling with, able to just throw everybody around. And I love the fact that Ivar came in and interfered, and we're just extending this it's on site feud between both of them. I think that's great. Always good to see Gargano look like the superstar that he is on the NXT brand. The fans love him. But the man of the hour is Mr. Wesley. He overcame a gauntlet of a fatal four way versus three super tough competitors. I feel like this was a good match for him to win. The cardiac kid always being an underdog and fighting his way up. That's kind of a story within the match with just his back against the ropes against who he's going against. It's not easy. The percentages of a fatal four way obviously are a lot slimmer than going in a one on one. And I think it's a good way to kind of build him momentum to this deadline match versus Dom, where I think he's gonna pull the W. We'll have to wait and see. But all in all, incredible main event.
100%, and I agree with you. Like, I think Wesley's character arc has just been like unreal over the last year. There's not really a bigger underdog that continues to be able to like portray a believable underdog than Wesley that I can really think of um going currently, because you want to root for him so badly no matter what. Like it's pretty undeniable. You know what I mean? There's really nothing to dislike about Wesley, given the story, even dating back to losing his own tag partner, right? And MSK, it's like it's awesome. And the cardiac kick, the cardiac kid, basically is what he is at this point. Like keeps pulling upsets, and why not get Dom as well while he's at it? But Drizzy, I got to get your thoughts on the main event too. Did somebody stand out to you as far as the main roster thing? I'll present the same question, and then also, do you think Wesley for sure, North American champion, taking that title off of Dominic Mysterio?
First thing first, that match absolutely was a slow burner that picked up when it got to the end. I love the fatal four way where you have guys that can move like that, that are fast, frantic. You get to you feel that frantic energy, like okay, it's just gonna take one shot and it's over. The Bronson Reed had all three on his shoulders. Great power first off, putting three men on your shoulders and slamming all of them. That is not easy by any means. The Gargano Wesley just dynamic, because it's just literally two. It reminds you like two ping pong balls just kind of bouncing off each other because they're just ding 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 the whole time. Wesley absolutely a standout in all these matches. I do believe he's taking the belt off Dom. We've had Dom as the champion for almost a half a year now. It's about that time that we go ahead and just kind of reset the North American division. I'm not the biggest fan of Wesley going back down a step after you had so many good matches for the NXT World Championship. And I think I said this last week. It's like I feel like it's just a big step down. But if you have to reset it, there's there's no shame in Wesley being the guy to be your person to reset it.
That I think you brought up a great point there too, and let's actually discuss that for a second here. The North American title in that division felt like such a staple of NXT for so long. Dominic Mysterio's reign primarily carrying the belt on the main roster, given he's made his appearances on NXT here and there, defended the title here and there. does in some ways feel like it's watered down the division. And I kind of, to your point, think Wes Lee winning the title and bringing back kind of the prestige, defending it week in and week out on NXT TV is the direction I would go, at least with that title. Do you guys kind of agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good way to, like y'all said, like reset it back to what it was. Like, I mean, we talked about it, and I have my clip of it all as well on the Instagram page. I was not happy about them having Dom win the title back from Trick Williams. I thought that was
Yes.
Yeah,
just
that's kind of where I
dumb.
feel like this kind of went downhill a little bit because initially Dom winning the belt, he was there weekly. But at the exact same time, we forget Dom is also a main roster superstar at the time being, and in a prominent main roster feud.
Hmm.
So it's gonna be one of those things like a JV varsity thing. You got a player who plays JV and varsity, and they got a game at the same time. Which one do you think they're gonna play first? They're gonna play the varsity first. They're not
Yep.
gonna worry about JV like that. So it makes sense, but it took like a small hit to the North American title scene. But like I said, Wesley stepping back down to grab the belt and try to just bring it just to reset the division. It's not bad. It's not a bad idea. It's not. It wouldn't be my first idea, but it's definitely not a bad idea.
I I hear where you're coming from too. Like Trick Williams carrying the belt, I think for some time would have made a lot more sense to me. Like Shad said 2 weeks ago, right?
It would have been his first title reign.
Hmm.
Yeah, and it was one of those things where it felt more like padding stats
Hmm.
in
Yeah.
hindsight, which I've never been a big fan of, right? We complain on other shows about like padding hot potatoing the TNT title for that, right?
Oh,
Whatever have you, whatever belt it is, it's just not it's not fun. It takes the luster off the title.
hate that about the TNT title.
Yeah, I do too. It bugs me.
Like
It bugs me.
catch. You get a title ring, and you get a title ring,
It bugs me
and
to
you get a
death.
title ring.
Well, the thing is this though, like Don's the sole focus of him winning the title back is just for the aesthetic of the Judgment Day all having like championship belts.
And but
Like each member having a belt, and I think like as cool as that is, like you got to remember this title is on a different brand. You need to have someone that is a focal member of that NXT programming week upon week, like,
right,
and that's the
because
issue with the second title reign.
and
Okay,
I don't think and I don't think that if Dom and Judgment Day was in War Games, we would have had this issue. I
Yeah,
really think that Dom probably would have still been around. But when you get into War Game season, yeah, War Games is top priority.
but they all gonna lose their titles soon, except for Rhea.
Ooh.
okay. Is it
Well,
just me though, or did the WWE Network / Peacock come out with that two dudes with attitudes untold thing about Shawn Michaels and Kevin
and
Nash
Diva.
holding all of the belts, and then all of a sudden every faction has to do it. The Bloodline does it, and then Judgment Day does it. Damage
Yeah,
Control's doing it. Now everybody has to hold all the belts at once. Cause and that
Nobody did it like the Undisputed Era.
exactly, I blame the documentary though. It's that doc that caused it. It's
The
just
un-
become a trend since.
it has, but
yeah.
But
it's a sign of true dominance in your group. But I
No,
think with
it looks good for sure. Like,
it does, but I don't think it means as much as it did before because there's more belts now.
yeah,
yes,
Like Judgment Day, it's not like they hold the world title, IC title, and tag titles. It's tag titles, women's title, North American title. It's not, and JD doesn't have a belt, so it even makes it look even more off.
oh yeah, he doesn't have a belt.
well, and that's where I thought like the window for the Money in the Bank thing for the world title is closing because they can't hold all those belts for this long. Where you're gonna hold divisions hostage, right? Like we kind of just discussed with the North American title, basically. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's just you can't. You gotta strike while the iron's hot, for lack of a better term. We got a few comments here. We got another one from Bobby Petito. All things are happening on NXT. I love it. We got a shout out for Shadi from our good friend Wasef Saeed. Did I say that right? Did I mess that up?
Oh,
Sorry.
Wasif Seif, man, what's good, bro?
Wasif. Yeah, Sif. There you go. Um, and then another one from Bobby Petito. I liked watching Bronson Reed and Cameron Grimes. Me as
Yes,
well.
did
And
we?
then Wesley should win the title and defend the title against different wrestlers. Absolutely, Bobby. I totally agree.
That is what a champion does.
You gotta be a fighting champion. I mean, Rollins dropped that in his promo last night on Raw, and I liked that as that was his only other passive aggressive line besides the one about Punk. But that's neither here nor there.
We don't got enough minutes to talk about Mr. Phil.
No, we're not getting into that. We are not talking about Mr. Phil, or as as our good friend Mickey James called him, Philbert, which actually cracked me up when busted open. That one got me. I hadn't heard that one yet. But let's actually talk about another match. Let's talk about tag team division. Speaking of different divisions, let's talk about the family. The family
You come
against
to me.
Los Lotharios. I think it's interesting. I mean, Los Lotharios, to see what's happened with Angel Garza. I mean, at one point, Garza was teaming with Andrade, like not that long ago, and now we've got these. This Los Lotharios thing has been happening for a while, right? Um, so obviously the family goes over. What did you think about this match, Drizzy, and how do you feel about the tag team division here on NXT?
The tag team division is in great hands. I think we talked about it a little bit last week. This was a good, with this being the second reign of after the first one being a real short one, the second one's going to be a little bit longer. You're going to see different types of teams now. And the first one was a nice, long, drag out fight with the new and improved Los Lotharios. I like to call them the Latino Wolves. They took it to the family in ways that I don't think anybody has taken it to the family. And I think you're gonna get more of that in these title defenses. You're gonna get it when you get to Tights and Tim's. My bad. OTM out the mud. You're gonna get it with them. You're gonna get it with, well, I guess you can't say the Creeds anymore. They're not down there. But you're gonna get more tag teams going. Briggs and Jensen. You're gonna get different types of tag teams doing different types of styles of wrestling, and just seeing how the family can adapt to it. Um, I do enjoy that I love seeing how the family is able to put this mafia spin on the tag team division, because you normally don't see your Don in a team like this. You normally see them being the top dog, and he's in the trenches with his right hand. So uh, it was a good first title defense for this second reign. I'm looking forward to the next title defense. They're just seeing how they learn how to combat different styles of tag teams.
I agree, and I think the stylistic mashups is the key. I think this is a great opportunity to actually have, because of the experience you have with the Dawn, with the family, with Stacks, to have them kind of run the division for a while in a
Mhm.
way, right? Where they kind of run through a bunch of teams of different styles, like you mentioned, but because they're experienced, work with some teams that they're clearly going to go over on,
Yeah.
and then they need to run into kind of a roadblock. I haven't figured out who that is yet.
I truly believe it's OTM.
O- OTM, I like
I
that
do
call.
believe it's OTM. I know I make fun of them. I call them Tights and Tims.
Tights and Tims
I
is
call
funny.
them I call them GTA. I call them GTA. But they
GTA
are
is
a
just
they are come up a good come up team, and could very well be that team to be the Hardy Boys to the family's Edge and Christian of sorts.
yes. I really like that call. I really like that call. What did you think, Shot, about this match, and how about the future of the tag division? Do you agree?
Yeah, I mean the future of the tag team division. I will be honest with you. Losing the Creed brothers is a significant loss, just because I think they were definitely bell for bell the best tag team in there, and also the most significant tag team uh on the entire NXT roster. So it is a loss, but obviously they got bigger fish to fry, and I'm happy for them. Uh, I think the match was solid. I think they had a good bout. I like Los Lotharios a lot. I feel Humberto is one of the more underrated wrestlers in WWE, and I think Angel Garza is incredible. I think they have done a good job just kind of repackaging them as a team, taking them away from that character arc. And I mean, they're a good first bout for it. I'm just curious to kind of see what the direction is for them. Obviously, taking a loss, you go down the pecking order of competition from there. So, I mean, I don't know if they, kind of have to fight their way back up to where we get a rematch. I think that this could have been a good match for these two to have at the pay per view rather than them lose tonight. So I'm kind of definitely curious on that. There are some young teams that they are working to develop. OTM is one of them. I think they have a lot of charisma, and they're both powerhouses, just being two tall workers and whatnot who got a lot of strength on them. And I think they could definitely be built up to be that next feud. um, I mean, Briggs and Jensen, we're gonna talk about them later, but I mean, I feel like they might have a falling out before anything. So I feel like they might need to reassess some stuff for the family. I would like to see them get an opportunity to fight one of these guys that they don't use a lot on the main roster for a quick little bout. What about them versus DIY? I think that would be a fun story. I think Gargano and Ciampa could tell stories well. They love NXT. They're gods over there, and having a nice little short feud, probably leading into a pay per view. Going down the next couple of months would be cool. They got other tag teams as well over there. Maybe why not Waller in theory? Just spitballing ideas, but I feel like you need to kind of build the family up because I do see a lot of potential in them, and they could possibly be that next tag team to get on the main roster and make some moves.
I think you named two really good ones there, and Bobby in the comments as well added one as Alpha Academy. Although the only thing I would ask is, are we talking about Gable and Otis, or are we talking about Otis and Tozawa now?
Oh, we
As
talking
we
about
saw last night, I'm not totally sure. I would not mind Imperium,
Nasty.
of course, but that would be
nasty.
Imperium seems a little too big time for that to take a loss. Um, I mean, New Day, I just no for
Well,
me. I mean,
we kind of already did the
We
New Day.
saw, we saw
yeah.
them in there. Let me think.
Bobby also added Chad Gable and Otis. He's saying, I mean, I wouldn't mind either Chad Gable and Otis or Tozawa and Otis, but I'd prefer Tozawa and Otis because I kind of want Gable to have this singles run and have another shot um at at
No
I'm
Am.
sorry no at Gunther. That
Oh,
was
Gunther.
terrible.
Oh, that one.
Walter was gonna come out of my mouth and my brain
You
went,
know what?
no, that's wrong.
Noam Dar and Aura Mensa versus them could be a fun little rivalry.
Now we're talking. That is a great
That would
call.
actually. That is a good one. I
That
would
is
definitely,
that is an outstanding. Those promos would be really fun.
if they decide to even sit there and go that route, absolutely a good one.
When that would almost feel like the classic. Like it's funny because you have like the old school, like bully type mafia vibe versus like the new school, like
They're just
Gen
like,
X, whatever you
y'all
want to
don't.
call it, like pick on you,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Yeah,
fashion thing. Like it's the complete clash of styles,
And Noam Dar and
like
Tony
fashion
D'Angelo
wise too.
can
yep.
they can make very good like vignettes, like segments backstage, all of that with each other. They both are like so good at comedic timing as in playing characters. Well, I feel like that'd be a good one. That might be the one actually.
I
I'm
think
keeping
the
that
key
one.
too for that one, that is a great call, and I would even add, I think that this one needs to be the one where, like the end game one, where like it becomes this is what brings like the seriousness out of the Don and the
Hmm.
family. Like it's comedic at first as the rivalry starts, and then he gets upset, and it's almost like the horse side scene in The Godfather,
Yeah.
where it's like, don't mess with us anymore. not
Mhm.
literally that scene, but you know what I mean? Like the
Cause I ain't gonna lie to you, when I first saw Tony D'Angelo, I thought he was like his. I'll be real with you, this is not even an insult. I was like, maybe he might be like a jobber, like a Brooklyn brawler on the main roster. But like he's grown into his character and he's embodied this Don character a lot more. Where it's like you could do something with it. Like he may not be like someone that's gonna get the belt off of Roman or anything like that. But like he could be a good person in the fold of that mid card scene where he could do some stuff and like you can build onto him. I think there's a lot of potential. I wouldn't move him up just yet. I feel like they got a lot of time to grow as individuals as well as a team before I would move them up. But that's one team in the 2024. If I'm HBK, I'm like, we need to put them through the fire and let them get in fuse with some pivotal people to make them see if they're battle tested for it or whatnot.
you know who he in a roundabout way like reminds me of, and this is super out of left field, but like Road Dogg. In the sense of
Mm,
like you could plug him into almost like a tag team. You could plug him into being the voice for somebody, right? Like he was the roadie. Like obviously he doesn't sing and do the same thing, right? But like
yeah,
you didn't expect Road Dogg to have the longevity that he did, but
Yeah.
he had the ability to adapt. But he was always still the Road Dogg at heart, like right, like no matter what, even when he and was in TNA, like it's still Road Dogg, right?
yeah,
He-
I think the Dawn can kind of be like that, even if he's not necessarily wearing the tracksuits and leading the group. There's definitely a place for him on the main roster wherever he goes because just his talent is there. He impresses me every time in the ring, and then on the mic, he's shown that he can not only lean into a character but embody one, and that to me is always impressive to see.
for sure,
Um,
for sure.
and he'll carry aspects of that through. I think even if it's not the full presentation we've gotten of like the Don Tony, you know what I mean, like but either way, I'm a fan of his, and he's grown on me in a big way. Is what I would say for sure. Should we talk about the Iron Survivor qualifying matches?
we
Yeah,
should.
let's get into
We
it.
Let's
should.
do it. So we first had Kiana James versus Kalani Jordan. Everyone knows I'm a huge Kalani Jordan fan. Drizzy, though, I'm going to toss it to you. You want to break this match down for us first? Um, how did you feel about it? Who do you think's going to win the Iron Survivor match? Not just based on this one, but like let's throw out some picks here early picks.
A very, very good match from Kalani and Kiana. Both of these are two people you wouldn't expect to have a. It's like you never sit there and think of putting them together that they'll give a good match. They actually were a really good, solid match. Kiana very aggressive. Kalani on her heels. wasn't She wasn't easily shaken, and they actually gave this one some time. That's the thing I absolutely love when you give things time. Let it cook a little bit. You don't just take this. You don't put the steak on for 5 seconds and pull it off. They put the steak on. They let it cook, and it was better for that. And I think they've done that a lot with a lot of these women's Iron Survivor matches. The women in general have actually become even more of a draw because they're just all over the place. The aggression, all the women have storylines, and this is the meeting of the middle of two of them. Kalani, uh, absolutely coming in on top. I almost want to say she's the favorite, one of the favorites to win this. If it's not her, I know everybody has their money on Tiffany. Me myself, as for me in this household, we are Lash Legend stands. We will die on the hill that Lash Legend is the one who's about to win the Iron Survivor match and go on to Stand and Deliver or whenever she gets her title match and take the title off of Lyra Valkyria.
Okay. I love it. I love it. I think it's a great pick. I enjoyed the match myself. I'm actually going to officially pick Kalani Jordan myself. I'm a big Kalani fan. I'm going with Kalani Jordan. Also in the comments, we have Bobby Batito going with Blair Davenport. Who do you have winning the Iron Survivor match, Shad? Oh, wait a minute. He's got to check the time. What
Oh
time is it,
Lord.
Shad?
It's Tiffy time. He's going to get her title back. Nah, I'm gonna be honest with you though. It's difficult for me to pick this one because I think it can go the two ways. I'm gonna be biased and I'm gonna pick Tiffany Stratton because she's the greatest women's wrestler of all time. Maybe the greatest,
Bullshit.
greatest, great,
Bullshit.
greatest wrestler of all time too. She should have every belt. But no, I think the winner of this probably is gonna be I can see Blair Davenport being, and I said it last episode too. I feel that that is the next. I don't think you get the title off for Lyra just yet. So it it's hard, man, because I could see a point where I'm gonna go with Tiffany. I got it being Tiffany versus Lyra, and I got Lyra beating Tiffany uh for the belt. But I'm gonna go with Tiffany getting that back because I think that is a money match. But I think the feud between Lyra and Blair Davenport is one that is gonna happen. But I think that may be a feud down the road where Blair might be the one to get the belt off of her. But I'm gonna go with Tiffany. It's Tiffy time. I think that's the money match. These two got history. I think they can have another banger of a match with each other. And yeah, man, it's Tiffy time.
No.
I don't got to watch on me, but yeah.
It's all good. It
No.
sounds like it's Tiffy
No.
time.
We lashing out with Lash Legend. Let's
I'm
go.
still going with Kalani there, myself, but I mean, I might change my pick later because who knows? Why not?
There's a
Um,
person that there's a last what is it called? The last chance
Second
match
chance.
next week.
Yes, last chance. Yes.
Yeah, so
yeah, the last chance.
there's four women who got a possibility to be there. Fallon Henley, Roxanne Perez, Thea Hale, and God, who the fourth one is?
Yeah, I'm taking Kalani
Kiana
Jordan.
James.
Kiana James.
Keanu
Um,
James.
I think Fallon Henley's gonna get in the match.
I think so
Yes.
too.
Based off the way the show ended this week, I am firmly putting my money on Fallon Henley getting into that match.
I like that.
Yeah, because
Okay,
I think Fallon needs it. Fallon needs it. She needs to be in that match.
let's quickly run through Braun Breaker and Eddie Thorpe.
You
We're
mean
not
like
even going to
you
fully
mean like
break
how
down.
Braun Breaker actually ran through Eddie Thorpe?
Braun Breaker
I got you. I
ran
got
through
you.
Eddie Thorpe. I mean, did you want to talk about it, Shot?
Yeah. Let me break it down real
You
quick,
got
man.
comments? Break it down for us.
Look, man. Eddie Thorpe is this. I don't know, man. There's nothing really connecting with him to me as a viewer and a fan. Like he doesn't do anything that's that great as a professional wrestler. I don't think he's a bad wrestler, but like, he's a solid wrestler, but the character is just not connecting with me, man. I don't know. It's his aesthetic is kind of weird looking.
Do you think it's possible he's a Basham?
He do look like one of the Bashams, man. He look like he be going to these like rave festivals, and I'm not trying to diss him because I know a lot of it is cultural inclined, and that's not an insult to that, but like, it's just I don't know something about him. He needs to gain some more charisma, some more swagger to his personality. He's like walking all loose and stuff. Like it just comes off very goofy. Braun Breaker beat him down. I mean, we knew this was gonna happen. Braun Breaker, I need to get him on the main roster ASAP, man. Like this dude don't need to do much more in NXT. It's time to get him on the main roster. Put him in the mid card fold. See what he could do. He's gonna be one of these next young stars in line. There ain't nothing for him to do left over here, man. Like it's pointless. But yeah, Braun got the dub. Good for him.
Absolutely. And by the way, I did in no way did I mean offense by the Basham joke, but if two bald guys in hats can't make a bald joke, I don't know who can. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Nah.
That's all I'm saying on that one. I don't know who can, but either way, I'm with you on that one. Yeah, Braun ran through him, and we ran through the match. Pretty simply put, and I agree with you on exactly what you said. Eddie Thorpe just. It's not that he's not talented. That's clear. Like he's got something in the ring. Like bell to bell, he's fine. Like he sells fine. You know what I mean? He's got a decent moveset, but there just needs something isn't clicking.
I'm gonna
Right.
play devil's advocate.
Okay.
Because these are things that we also said about people like Elias. He just wasn't
Well,
hitting on in NXT.
but I'm
But he
still
went to the
walking with Elias.
well, we went to the main roster, and he's a hit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes what doesn't work in the small arenas and stuff like that is perfect for main roster. Apparently, like I don't know, like because I'm kind of with you guys. He doesn't hit for me as well. He's not somebody that I gravitate toward. I don't know if it's like a relation thing or a charisma thing. It's just something he doesn't hit for me. But there's somebody that he may be hitting for. He may be Shawn Michaels' favorite wrestler for all we know. But at this moment in time, for the three of us, it's just not a. He's not a guy that we're ready to put our eggs in his basket.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's really no knock on him, like
Yeah,
you said, like it's just, and I mean, obviously the Basham thing's a joke, like but it is like there's just something, there's one little piece, like you said, like it, it could work on the main roster, but there's something like a gear that needs to be switched slightly. You know what I mean? It's like the engine is either revving too hard or not hard enough, and I
and I
haven't figured it
and
out.
and I kind of think it may be the lack of we're not 100% sure what he is because
Right.
he was brought to us as a DJ and then he comes out as as an Indian and it's like we're not sure which way we go with it. I kind of
Yeah.
feel like it was kind of like that with Nikita Lyons a little bit too, but because she's thick, we overlook it
That's
because
that's an
she's
excellent point.
a daughter of a groupie and a rock star who does martial arts
Yeah.
and her finisher is a split-legged moonsault. Is a split leg. Is a split. I don't even know what that is. It's just a split leg drop, I guess. I don't know, but we overlook it because
She went viral.
she's aesthetically pleasing to the eye.
Pleasing,
Yes.
yeah, and that's
Bobby's
not
got
a
a great suggestion here in the comments too, by the way. He said that Eddie Thorpe may need to go back and wrestle at NXT level, but it's not a bad suggestion. Just to get a little bit more time and more in-ring experience, it's not a bad idea. He's also got another comment here. Trick Williams is his pick to win the men's Iron Survivor. That is not a bad pick in the least,
that's
my
my
friend
that's my
Bobby.
that's my pick too.
And that is Shad's pick too. I'm gonna save mine. At least Drizzy, I don't know who your pick is yet either.
I
But
kind of want to wait till the second chance the second chance fatal four way next week.
I hate to do that to you, Shad, since you already put your eggs all in the Trick Williams basket, but I'm
It's the
gonna
Trick
wait too.
Williams basket, baby. Let's
I'm
go.
waiting. Okay,
I,
let's
I don't
talk.
know why I just feel the need to say pause after that. I don't know why. I feel the need to say pause. That we keep on saying we'll put our eggs in their bed. Pause.
Well, yeah, we got Easter coming up in April. We haven't even had Christmas yet.
I haven't had
Yeah,
Christmas
Right,
yet,
yeah,
bro.
I know, no, that's the joke. This is like we've done the eggs in the basket reference like 4 times, but no, let's talk Dragunov and Nathan Frazier. I
Oh,
mean,
Great match.
how many times can we watch these guys wrestle and be stoked? Pretty much every Tuesday. Like, can we just book that match over and over and over? Like, two of my absolute favorites. Honestly, it's funny because shout out Kobe Galanzowski. He made me watch a lot of NXT UK, especially at the very end too, with no fans, which is like really not the prime of NXT UK. But Nathan Frazier always stood out to me, and it took a long time for Frazier to show up on NXT. Boy, has he made an impact. Speaking of people with futures on the main roster, Nathan Frazier, I think, has one. Like, what do you guys think about this one? I mean, Chad, you agree on that?
Yeah, I think he's a phenomenal wrestler. Like the guy is moving at like 100 miles per hour with his move set. He sells well. I think he's pretty solid character. I think that's something where he's so young in his career that throughout time his character will only evolve and whatnot. And I think he's somebody that you keep in the fold on NXT for the time being, him being young. And this is a guy potentially who will be a future NXT North American champ and NXT World Champion. They had a phenomenal match. Both of these guys are great in-ring wrestlers, to your point. But I love the mind games that's going on with Baron Corbin and to Ilya Dragunov, where he's flexing you know, all he got, right? Successful. He is the big time man. He's been on the main roster. He has nothing to prove. And he's telling him that I've got all of this. You are only a champion, and that's all that you'll ever be is kind of just like a poor, in the words of MJF. And I think it's good. I think he's getting under his skin, and you saw Dragunov take the extra mile to really want to put pain and hurting into Nathan Frazier. So I think they're setting up a good title match between these guys, and yeah, I liked it all.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, Dragonov also talking with Baron Corbin. Jeez Louise, that was really bad. I completely just space cadetted out there for a second. Baron Corbin and Dragonov too. I love that entire interaction. When did Baron Corbin all of a sudden get good again? I mean, I know we've been talking about it for a while, but like, when did he get so dang good? Either way, Dragonov Frazier, break that one down for us as well. Drizzy, how did you feel about the match? How do you feel about Dragonov and Corbin, and how do you feel about the NXT championship picture for the future?
I feel like this was Nathan Frazier's audition for the main event scene. We're getting to the point where we're gonna have to start sending those main eventers out into the main roster, and we're gonna start bringing new blood into the main event scene. Ilya's gonna need new challenges, and this definitely felt like an audition for the main event for Nathan Frazier. I do believe he shined bright on this stage. He gave Ilya fits that I don't think Ilya was even thinking that he was going to have with him. I'm pretty sure he thought he was going to come in, have a nice little 5 minute match, and it actually took Ilya a lot more than what he thought it was going to be to beat Nathan Frazier. Um, it's, he presents a different style of a high flyer of sorts. Like he's a high flyer, yes, but he relies more on the speed aspect of everything than the actual flying aspect. And I actually like that mix with Ilya, who likes to keep you in close with chops and punches and everything. And Nason has also shown that he's pretty resilient because as the match went on, Ilya started losing himself a little bit. You know, had become unhinged because you're like, what is it going to take to keep this man down? And it took not one but two of those fought those jumping punches to put him down. I think that we're definitely going to see this match again. Hopefully at a PLE. See, I got you there. PLE. At a PLE in the future, but definitely we need to give Nathan Frazier some more big time matches. He's ready for that spotlight. I think Neil.
I totally agree. Frazier can go. I think we're all three in agreement on that. Nathan Frazier has proved he could go, and I mean Dragonov is no brainer. Do you think there's any chance of Dragonov being called up anytime soon, guys?
We
Ah,
discussed this last week, I think, and
We
it's
did slightly, but I'm just afraid.
I don't think he's gonna go up anytime soon. I think it'll be maybe another year.
I I
That's
I don't know. Yeah, I'd give him, if not a year, 6 months. I think you
Yeah.
can. I think you let him have a nice lengthy title run. I think you have enough people on that roster where you can have him have numerous opponents. And you thing is this: I with NXT, if you poach all these people off, you're limited on as much star power that you have on the roster. You still need to sell this as a show that needs to attract viewers. And Dragunov is a person that's going to attract viewers,
Mhm.
especially with him as your champion. So I'd keep him in the fold maybe by next year,
But
after
that's
Mania season. You
but
know,
that's also why you have matches like this.
yeah,
You have
you
this
you
match with Nathan Frazier, um, possibly Eddie Thorpe in the future. We got there's like a whole list. Joe Coffees, Tyler Bate. Like there are people down here who, when the next crop goes up, that you need to start having these matches now to build them up, so you're
yeah,
not left
Axiom.
with nothing. Like Axiom, yes,
Axiom,
people like
yeah.
that.
I no, I agree 100%. And that's to a point. I feel like he's useful because the thing is this: he's is Is he talented enough to go to the main roster right now? Yeah, without a doubt. He
Yeah.
could. You could put him in there. You can find a way to make it work. I just feel like he has more value to be on NXT right now. You build and you continue to build him up while you build others up, and then by the time he's on the main roster, who knows? Maybe the Ring General will still be IC champion. Maybe
See, that's where I hate to
go
do this
into
because
it.
I was gonna bring us to the end of the show with I hate to do this, but I just see him as the best challenger to Gunther's title on the main roster for the Intercontinental title. But that does bring us to the end of the show, Sean. So we can't discuss it further. We can't. We can
Sure,
get
we
into
have
this
to
later. We'll
talk about this
talk
next
about
week.
this another time, guys. It's been awesome. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you haven't already liked and subscribed, please do. Thank you everyone for in the comments, whether it's Bobby Petito, my mom, Anthony Manzano, Cool Gamer, everybody for tuning in. Thank you so much. We'll see you guys next week, same time, same place, immediately following NXT. We'll also be here for the pay-per-view or the PLE. Jeez Louise.
Yes,
What is
sir.
it? 2 weeks, 3
December
weeks?
9th.
December 9th? Yes. We'll um, we'll let you know about the time for that. And thank you so much for tuning in. Everybody have an awesome Tuesday and see everybody soon.
Peace.